Let us now turn our attention to the structures and the functions of the organelles that are found in cells. These are the organelles are the ones that are visible when the cell is viewed under the electron microscope. Now, organelles are structurally and functionally the distinct units that are found in a cell. When a cell is viewed under the microscope, there are those structures that are so distinct in terms of form and shape. These are what are known as the organelles. Now, each organelle carries a specific function within the cell. There are many different types of organelles, and most organelles are found in both animal and plant cells. However, some are found only either in animal cells, while others occur only in the plant cells. So we'll mention which type of cell each organelle occurs as we discuss each one of them one by one. We start with the nucleus. The nucleus is the largest cell organelle. It is spherical in shape and enclosed by a double membrane known as the nuclear membrane. So the nuclear membrane is a double unit membrane. There is the outer and the inner membrane that makes up the double unit nuclear membrane. This nuclear membrane is also known as the envelope, and it is perforated by nuclear pores. At specific points, there are tiny holes or openings that are known as the nuclear pores. These nuclear pores allow for the exchange between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. So materials freely pass through the nuclear pore from the nucleus into the surrounding cytoplasm, and vice versa from the cytoplasm into the nucleus, because within the nucleus there is synthetic process that takes place, and the materials required for this synthesis comes from the surrounding cytoplasm. Now, once the materials have been synthesized, for example, like the ribosomes, then they leave the nucleus through the nuclear pore and get to the cytoplasm, where they carry out their functions. Now, the nucleus is composed of a viscous fluid known as the nucleoplasm. This is a material that fills the interior of the nucleus. Within this nucleoplasm, there are the dark spherical body, the nucleolus. There are ribosomes and genetic material in the form of the thin thread-like structures known as the chromatin. Functions of the nucleus. It carries out very important functions that determine the activities of the cells. First and foremost, it is a controller. It's one that controls all the activities of a cell. Without the nucleus, the cell will not survive for long, because all the reactions, all the synthetic activities that take place within a cell are directed by the nucleus. Secondly, the nucleus contains genetic material known as the deoxyribonucleic acid, or in short, the DNA. This is a long molecule that exists in the form of the thread-like chromatins. So when viewed under the microscope, the genetic material will appear as thin thread-like structures that are known as the chromatins. So this is the genetic material, which consists of deoxyribonucleic acid molecule. Now, the genetic material, that is the DNA, determines the inheritance of the cell and therefore the organism. All the characteristics that a cell possesses, and these are the ones that determine the characteristics of an organism, are based on the genetic material present in the DNA, and which appears as thread-like structures known as the chromatin. The third function of the nucleus is that it controls the synthesis of proteins. It controls the synthesis of proteins. Now, this comes about again with the help of the ribosomes. These ribosomes play a very important role in the synthesis of proteins. And the fourth function is the manufacture of the ribosomes that play a central role in protein synthesis. The manufacture of the ribosomes is carried out by the nucleolus, the dark spherical body within the nucleus. Now, there are two types of cells depending on the structure and the appearance of genetic material. Cells that have a nucleus that has a very distinct membrane are said to be eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells, like for example in animals such as human beings, insects, fish, all these organisms have eukaryotic cells. But then there are those cells in which the nucleus lacks a distinct membrane. The nucleus lacks a distinct membrane such that the genetic material is not bound in any specific organelle. These type of cells are said to be prokaryotic. Prokaryotic cells, and a good example of prokaryotic cells are the bacterial cells. All bacterial cells are prokaryotic in that they do not have a distinct membrane-bound nucleus. Now, moving on to the next organelle, that is the mitochondrion. The mitochondrion, that is a singular form, plural is mitochondria. So we talk about many mitochondria, one mitochondrion. The mitochondrion is an elongated, sausage-shaped organelle bound by a double membrane. So there is an outer membrane and the inner membrane. The outer membrane is smooth, while the inner membrane is highly folded to form projections known as cristae. So cristae is the plural form of these projections. We talk about many cristae, and then one of them is referred to as cristae. One of them is referred to as the cristae. So the pronunciation remains the same, cristae, but the spellings, the plural has an E and the singular one does not have an E at the end. These cristae provide a large surface for the attachment of respiratory enzymes. So they increase the surface upon which respiratory reactions do take place. The mitochondrion also contains a fluid matrix. There is a fluid matrix in which respiratory reactions take place. Within this fluid matrix, there are enzymes that control the respiratory reactions. And also, within the matrix, there are ribosomes. These ribosomes control the formation of respiratory enzymes because the mitochondrion synthesizes its own respiratory enzymes that controls the respiratory reactions. So the function of the mitochondrion is that it produces energy for the cell through the process of respiration. So the mitochondrion carries out respiration through which energy is released. Cells which require a large amount of energy have numerous mitochondria in them. For example, sperm cell. Sperm cell, because it moves through swimming, consumes a lot of energy, and therefore individual sperm cells will have a large number of mitochondria to provide this energy. Then the ribosomes, these tiny organelles that play such a crucial role in the life processes of any cell. Ribosomes are very small spherical organelles that consist of two parts. There's a larger unit and the smaller unit. The larger subunit and the smaller subunit. Ribosomes are found in the cytoplasm, where they may be scattered all over, and they also occur inside other organelles such as chloroplasts. It is found in plant cells. They are also found in the mitochondria, and they also occur on the surfaces of endoplasmic reticulum. This is also another type of organelle that is found in cells. Function of the ribosomes is that they provide the site for protein synthesis.